Once I start running, it is live, showing graph the live bar. Now I can
Why it's not coming? Started.
It was the year 1971 when Prabhupada, he took some of his disciples, Westerners, to show them what is Vrindavan, how it looks. So in those days, as soon as the Western disciples of Prabhupada, when they heard that they are going to Vrindavan, the first thing that came to their mind was, oh no, it will be very nice. So we'll be going with Prabhupada. Prabhupada will show us a lot of places. And they were thinking that mainly Prabhupada will be discussing some very confidential pastime of Radha and Krishna. So they were very eager and excited about it. So Prabhupada was showing them many places. And usually in the morning and in the evening, in the Radha Damodar temple which we'll be visiting. So Prabhupada used to have the daily classes there. And in the classes, his disciples were expecting something where Prabhupada will be speaking from the nectar of devotion, the part 2 of the nectar of devotion, something very confidential pastimes. But it was not so. Prabhupada was still sticking on to the basics. Do your sadhana, and more than that, your seva bhava. Because only way to understand Lord, or the only way to please the Lord, is by seva bhava. And only way to understand this Dham of Vrindavan is by doing seva. So this point Prabhupada was continuously, in his interaction, in his classes, he was continuously telling to his disciples. Just like in one of the letters, Prabhupada had told his disciple that how important it is to have this seva bhava. He writes in this letter, the system is that anyone who comes to temple, he brings something to offer to the deity. That is the beginning of love, to give something. If I love you, I must give you something. And whatever you will give me, I shall accept it. So give something to Krishna and take his instruction. If people take advantage, automatically he becomes a devotee, lover of Krishna. That is the success of life. So just see what Prabhupada says. What is success for life? He says, give something to Krishna and then take his instruction. If people take this advantage, automatically he becomes a devotee and lover of Krishna. So clearly it is shown that we have to develop the attitude of seva bhava. As it is said, one of the glory of Vrindavan is anything you do, it will be multiplied by 1,000. So this is a good opportunity for us. When we come to Vrindavan trip, we should be ready to at least render a lot of service, and since we'll be visiting many temples, you should take this opportunity. You should come, offer something to the deity, offer a garland, offer some contribution, offer some bhoga. So like that, we should be ready to be in the mood of seva. And this thing was very nicely understood by previous acharyas. Just like Narottam Das Thakur. Narottam Das Thakur, being such an exalted devotee of the Lord, still Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally came in his dream and instructed Narottam Das Thakur that you should go to Vrindavan and take shelter of Loknath Maharaj and become his disciple. So when he went to Vrindavan, so Loknath Maharaj was in a completely mood of separation, because Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami have left this planet, even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has left this planet, and he was completely in the mood of separation and he was not able to live. So at that time, Narottam Das Thakur approached Loknath Maharaj and begged him to make him to get initiation from him. But since Loknath Maharaj took a vow of not to initiate anyone, he was not ready for it. But still, Narottam Das Thakur didn't give up. So daily morning, when Loknath Maharaj used to go for his morning obligations or call of nature, Narottam Das Thakur used to clean the place on a regular basis. So Loknath Maharaj used to feel like, every day, how come this place is so clean? So once he found out that Narottam Das Thakur was doing this menial service, and he was very pleased by this attitude of Narottam Das Thakur. And then there were of course some things, few Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came in the dream of Loknath Maharaj also, and then Loknath Maharaj initiated Narottam Das Thakur. So this one principle we should always remember in spiritual life, that how we can develop this Seva Bhava. And since we are going to Vrindavan, as I said, anything we do, it's multiplied by 1,000. So whatever Seva you do, you should always remember it's multiplied by 1,000. Just like one of the Prabhupada's disciple was telling, when Prabhupada was taking him to Vrindavan, because that time temple construction was about to begin, and from Delhi to Vrindavan they were traveling in an ambassador car. So the disciple was very excited. Oh, and I think now Prabhupada will discuss some pastime of Krishna and all those things. So when they started their journey, Prabhupada was very quiet, and in between he saw some construction activity going on. And then he turned back to his disciple and he said, we should ensure that first class quality of cement and bricks are used for the temple construction. So Prabhupada again started talking more about service. So we should always know, the more we do service, the more this dham will be revealed to us. The secret is service. And keeping this in view, as soon as we reach Vrindavan, generally we begin our journey by doing parikrama. We do parikrama of this holy dham of Vrindavan. It is said that, by the few quotes are there, it is said that those who with firm faith and devotion for Lord Krishna perform this parikrama of Rajamandala are free from all sins and go back to Godhead at the time of death. So those who take part in this parikrama of Vrindavan, they are freed from all the sins and will achieve the goal of life, that is going back to Godhead. So generally why we do parikrama? We do circumambulation, right, as a mark of respect. Generally we do parikrama. First, there are three major reasons for it. First thing, for our own purification. But before that, we always want to follow the footsteps of previous acharyas. And even when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Vrindavan, he also did Vrindavan parikrama, and we follow the same path which was travelled by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So even we also do our parikrama. So the three reasons for why we do this parikrama is, the first thing is for our own purification. The second thing is for offering devotion to the Lord out of respect. And the third thing is to increase our remembrance of Lord, to increase our faith. The more we hear about Him, the more we increase our faith in Lord. Just like when we begin our Vrindavan parikrama, generally we pass through so many places where Krishna has performed this wonderful pastime. So there is one place before before that Kaliya Ghat, where Krishna subdued the demon Kaliya. So before that there is something called as Madantera Ghat. It so happened that in that place, when Krishna was having his pastimes with the Vrajavasis or with the coward friends, so seeing the beauty of Krishna, so Cupid actually wanted to come there and trap Krishna in his beauty, in his spell. But when he came there, as soon as he saw Krishna, seeing the beauty of Krishna, he himself he fell flat, he himself became unconscious because he saw the beauty of Krishna. So generally in a devotional practice, many times we fall for our lusty desires and all those things. But you see, even Cupid, because of Cupid we fall for it, Kamadeva. But you see, Kamadeva, when he saw the beauty of Lord Krishna, he himself fell unconscious. So generally, in that place, we pray to the Lord that please let me get attracted to you more, so that I'll somehow give up my attraction to all these so-called material things. So like that, when we hear all these pastimes, our faith in the process will increase, faith in the Lord will increase. Then we'll go to so many other places. We'll be visiting on the way some Goswami temples. Since the Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, all the Goswamis, they have been empowered by Krishna. And especially, they're empowered by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because you see the background of all these Goswamis. They have come from a very good background. They were ministers, they were, ministers, and they were treasurers having so much wealth. In today's, if you just compare the wealth which they have from today's calculation, they were actually like a billionaires. But still, they left all those things and they were completely devoted in the seva of this Dham and following the instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and doing so many wonderful activities of writing these books on Bhakti, rediscovering the lost places where Krishna performed his pastime. Why? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to show the world that how great this place is. Through the Goswamis, he wanted to show the Goswamis who were so rich, who were ministers, who were at such big, they're having big palaces, but they were not so interested in that. They were interested in this real wealth, that is Vrindavan and Krishna consciousness. Through them, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to show the world what is this real wealth is. Just like when, by hearing all these pastimes, we get more attracted to them. And by hearing more and more about Krishna's pastime, we increase our faith. Just like it so happened once, Srila Prabhupada, when he was giving a class in Radha Damodar temple. So Prabhupada usually he'll just tell one line of a sloka and he'll tell Pradyumna, one of his disciples, who was a very scholarly person, to complete the verse and see in which chapter it falls in. So it so happened that once Prabhupada quoted from the 7th chapter, 1st verse of Gita. He just quoted the first 2 lines and he said, his disciple, can you please complete that verse, see in which chapter it is. So the disciple of Prabhupada, he was very confident. Then he said, yes Prabhupada, it is an 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and he started seeing. Prabhupada said, are you sure it is an 8th chapter? Yes Prabhupada, it's an 8th chapter. Are you sure? Okay, see. Then he started seeing. Then finally he realized that verse is not in the 8th chapter. Then he went to the 7th chapter, and in the 7th chapter, first verse, the verse which Prabhupada quoted, it was in the 7th chapter, first verse. And finally he completed the sloka. Then Prabhupada asked him, which chapter does it fall in? And then the disciple of Prabhupada, he told the translation. Then Prabhupada again asked him, can you tell me in which chapter it falls? Then finally the disciple said it falls in 7th chapter. So in one of the memories, one disciple of Prabhupada was telling that how through this Prabhupada wanted to hit the pride of his disciple. Just like in the pastime of Govardhana, Indra became so proud of his strength that he started to show his strength in front of Krishna only. And as you know, Krishna loves his devotees. Just like any demons, he will kill the demons. But for his devotees, whatever they do, he will always teach them a lesson. Indra did so many things. When Krishna wanted to take the Parijata flower, again he attacked Krishna. But still, Krishna taught him a lesson. Similarly, in Govardhan pastime, Krishna showed him who is the Supreme Lord. In the same way, Prabhupada also was showing his disciple, like, see, you should never become proud. It's not good for a devotional service. And at the same time, Yamuna Mataji was recalling one more pastime of Srila Prabhupada, like how when they were sitting in Vrindavan, there was some Vedic scholars, and they were complaining to Prabhupada, Swamiji, I don't think so your disciples know all this Vedanta, the Sutra, Ishopanishad, they don't know all this Upanishad sloka and all. Prabhupada said, no, they know everything. They are doing devotional service. And Prabhupada said that yes, the goal of all this is to do Bhakti Yoga. They are already doing. Then they were not convinced. At that time, Yamuna Mataji was just walking by, and then Prabhupada called her. And he said, can you tell me the first sloka of Ishopanishad? And then Yamuna Mataji was telling Ishawasi, and she told the entire sloka. Then she was afraid, oh my God, I hope Prabhupada doesn't ask me the second sloka. Because if he asks me the second sloka, I'll get exposed. Then Prabhupada said, see, look at my disciple. They have come from US, they didn't know anything about Vedic culture. See how they are telling? Very good. And he praised Yamuna Mataji and she went off. So Yamuna Mataji was saying that how Prabhupada, in spite of, we always see the good things in his disciples. He'll always try to protect us and always, show us in a good light in front of others. So similarly, you see in Krishna also, as you know, after staying in this material world for so many millions of years, still we have so many anarthas, still we are not really so eager to fully surrender to Krishna and take up it as a goal of life. Still there are many things, but still Krishna is so merciful. He's always ready to protect his devotees. He's so merciful. Similarly, these great souls are also like that. Like Srila Prabhupada, many acharyas. They are always eager to see that this conditioned soul, like all of us, somehow or the other, they get attracted to Krishna. That's why Prabhupada, he wanted to show us Vrindavan. Because Vrindavan, as I said, is going to be a turning point in our life. Whenever we go there, we have seen many boys who are just chanting 1 round, 2 round, and even thinking of chanting 16 rounds, like, it's like 2 hours. They are not ready to accept it. But still, when they come to this place, the vibration, the culture of Vrindavan enforces them to start chanting this 16 rounds, because that place has that power. So that's why Prabhupada ensured that first class facilities are there in Vrindavan. Because those days Vrindavan was nothing. So Prabhupada ensured that all those facilities are given so that many people come, see this place and take the benefit and surcharge their life with Krishna consciousness and go back and start practicing. So this one principle we should always remember, Seva Bhava. So in Vrindavan, as it is said, how much ever we do, any seva, anything we do, it gets multiplied by 1,000 times. Just like there are some few benefits, whatever we do devotional service in Vrindavan, it is said, what is the need for any further consideration? So this is from Mathura Mahatmya. It is said, what is the need for any further consideration? Anyone who simply hears about the glories of Rajamandala automatically delivers 200 generation of both his parental, maternal family members, just by hearing the glories of Rajamandala. And it is also said that those who visit the 12th sacred forest of Vrindavan will no longer suffer the pangs of hellish life. So just by visiting that place, we will no longer suffer the pangs of hellish life. Generally, in the 5th canto, the last chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, Sukadev Goswami gives a description little bit about how that hellish planet will be. If you just go through that, even Parikshit Maharaj was really, he became he became more compassionate to the conditioned souls. They have to go through so much suffering. Small things. Even if you don't take care of your guest, you have to undergo some consequence of that hellish planet. So just a little bit hint Sukadev Goswami gave in Bhagavatam. So we can avoid going to that place just by visiting this wonderful place that is Vrindavan. And it is also said in Garga Samhita that visiting Vrindavan is equal to seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari. Just by seeing, we will be able to visualize who is that Supreme Lord. Because Vrindavan, every step is filled with Krishna consciousness. As I said yesterday, you walk in the street, in the walls they'll be writing Jai Shri Radhe. You walk in the street, generally people, instead of ringing their bell or using the sound honking, they'll tell Jai Radhe 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 Radhe. So every step is filled with Krishna consciousness. You will see people always holding chanting back. And that place is such that you will also feel to always hold your japa bag and keep on chanting. That place has that. So whenever you do that in Vrindavan, it always gets multiplied by 1,000 times. And it is also said in Mathura Mahatmya that, Garg Samhita, that walking in the holy land of Vrindavan is equal to the merit of going to different holy tirtha with every step. Just by walking in this holy dham is equal to the merit what you get by going to all the different tirthas which is there in this planet. So this is Vrindavan, and let us take this advantage of this place and become more serious. And the best way, since we are going now, many of us are prepared for it, let us go in the mood of hearing more and be ready to do more seva. As I said, when we go to temple, be ready to give some offering to the deities, because these deities are not ordinary. They have been self-manifested and they have done wonderful pastime. You will be hearing as we continue this Rachanites. And it is said that this when we do more seva to this great soul, just like I came across this wonderful verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, importance of hearing. It is said, Shri Krishna, it is the 1st canto, 2nd chapter. I like this verse. Many times I have quoted it. So it is said in the 1st canto, 2nd chapter that Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is a Paramatma in everyone's heart, cleans the desire of material enjoyment from the heart of a devotee who has developed the urge to hear his message. Krishna, who is there in our heart as Paramatma, he'll purify this heart just if you have a desire to know about it. Just by having that desire to know about who is Krishna, Krishna takes charge of your life, starts the purification process. That's why Prabhupada writes in the the last para of this purport, he says, if one is engaged in hearing the glories of the Lord, gradually he realizes his real position. By the grace of the Lord, such a devotee gets sufficient strength to defend himself from the state of disturbance, and gradually all disturbing elements are eliminated from the mind. So Prabhupada writes, by hearing more of Lord, we'll come to know what is our true position. And Prabhupada goes on to write, by hearing more, we get the grace of the Lord, and by that grace of the Lord, we get strength to defend ourselves from the state of disturbance. Generally, when we start practicing Krishna consciousness, there will be a lot of force, lot of previous anarthas which will be hitting us, which will disturb. Many times we undergo a lot of disturbance. So we can come out of that only by hearing. Now, how to get that desire for hearing? That is important, right? So for that, the Bhagavatam also gives an answer for it in the previous verse. So it is said, by serving those devotees who are completely freed from all vice, great service is done. By such service, one gains an affinity to hear the message of Vasudeva. So here, even in Bhagavatam, this importance of seva is given. That first is, we have to develop a desire to hear. If you develop a desire to hear, Krishna starts the Anartha Nivritti stage. But how to get that desire? That desire we can get that desire only by this seva bhava. Just like it is said, Prabhupada writes in the purport, the servant of the God come to propagate God consciousness, and intelligent people should help him in every respect. By serving the servant of the God, one can please the God more than by directly serving the Lord. See, Prabhupada writes in the purport, you can please the Lord. How? By serving the servant of the Lord. And then Prabhupada writes that the Lord is more pleased when he sees that his servants are properly respected, because such servants risk everything for the service of the Lord and so are very dear to the Lord. And the Lord declares in the Bhagavad Gita that no one is dear to him than one who risks everything to preach his glories. And the same thing Prabhupada did. It so happened when Prabhupada was there in Radha Damodar temple, there was one very young disciple of Srila Prabhupada who got recently initiated, and he was chanting loudly in a courtyard of Radha Damodar temple. So Prabhupada called out his secretary, that is Shyam Sundar Prabhu, and he told Shyam Sundar Prabhu, can you get that devotee? So he was a very young boy, I think roughly around 20-year-old, and when that devotee came, he offered obeisance to Prabhupada, and then Prabhupada said, asked him, what are you going to do now? What's your service? Then that disciple of Prabhupada said, very young devotee, he said, Prabhupada, I'll be going to Vietnam and will be distributing books. So Prabhupada said, Vietnam? Yeah, yes Prabhupada, I'll be going there, because during the Vietnam went through a war there, and just the war got over, and the place was actually not so much suitable for devotees to go and start a temple and all. But Prabhupada saw the eagerness in that disciple. Then he was so pleased with him. Then Prabhupada said, very good. Then he called out Shyam Sundar Prabhu and he said, I want to give him sannyasi diksha. Ensure that tomorrow all arrangement is done. So that boy was so new to Krishna consciousness, and Prabhupada was ready to give sannyasi diksha because he was so pleased with an attitude to serve the instruction of Prabhupada. Because Prabhupada said, if someone distributes a book, he becomes very pleased. So when someone does that, you can see he makes a lot of advancement in his spiritual life. Just like in the initial days, Vrindavan itself, when they were doing this construction of this Krishna Balram temple, it was very interesting how they got the land. In that we have that Krishna Balram temple, that land where there's Prabhupada's Samadhi. It was very interesting. So one of the disciples of Prabhupada said, Prabhupada, one person wants to donate a land for us. So he's ready to gift it. And Prabhupada said, go there and get the deed signed. Then he said, okay. Then he went there, and that person said, suddenly he changed as soon as that disciple, Prabhupada's disciple, told him that, can we sign the deed? So can we get it done? So that person said, wait a minute. In Vrindavan, everything belongs to Radharani. So how can it know that that land Radharani wants to give it to you only, wants to give it for your mission only? Then that disciple was like, he was not able to answer anything. Then tell me. Then the disciple said, no, because my spiritual master wants it, and it is said that if you please a spiritual master, Krishna will be pleased. So if my spiritual master wants, that means even Krishna also wants. So for that reason, you have to give the land to us. in a very naive way, that American disciple of Prabhupada was telling him. Then he was saying, no, I'm not so satisfied by your answer. No, tell me, how can I believe that Radharani wants that land to be given to you only? Then that person said, okay, we'll do one thing. So he had a deity of Radha Krishna in his home. He said, I'll do one thing. I'll take these two chits. In one chit I'll write yes. In the other chit I'll write no. So we put this chit in front of Radharani, and whichever chit you select, if it is yes, the land will go to ISKCON. If it is no, I'm not going to donate to you. Then he was like, oh my God. He was like, oh, what to do? The Prabhupada has told me to get these deeds, and this person is making me engage in this kind of act. Then the disciples started intensely praying, please, please, Radharani, please, Krishna, somehow or the other, it should come yes, it should come yes, it should come yes. Then that person took that chit, made two chits, and he threw that chit in front of that altar of Radha Krishna. And that disciple took the chit, and when he opened it, it was yes. And that person said, yes, I'll be giving this land to ISKCON. And the disciple was so much relieved. He went to Prabhupada, he told all these things, and Prabhupada said, okay, we have to write the deed now only. Then he called Shyam Sundar Prabhu, and Shyam Sundar Prabhu brought a very big, we had a typewriter that time, mechanical typewriter. So Shyam Sundar, to please Prabhupada, he purchased an electrical typewriter, which runs on electricity, which he made a mistake, because when Prabhupada called at that person who wants to gift that land, and when they were starting to type that letter, as you know, India current went off. So he cannot finish the deed. Then Prabhupada wanted to finish it that day only, all the formalities. Then Prabhupada called Yamuna Mataji. Since Yamuna Mataji was very talented, she knew this calligraphy and all those things. And Prabhupada said, you write, I'm going to dictate. In that way, you print the deed, write the deed in that art, and we'll sign it right now. And after signing it, this is how the land came to us. And when the land came to us, initially it was very tough, because see, all these Westerners, they were coming from a place where it's like an AC, air conditioned. The weather is so good, and now in Vrindavan it was so hot. It was touching almost 45 degrees plus, and they were having a tough time. So, but still Prabhupada used to always encourage them. And Yamuna Mataji used to say that initial days when the temple construction was going on, they used to stay in Radha Damodar temple. And all the men used to stay they used to sleep in the terrace, because at least by sleeping in the terrace you'll get some breeze. But Yamuna Mataji was staying in the first floor, and it was so hot. But still she remembered that how Prabhupada also used to stay in the same place. And how Prabhupada, for us, he took so much tapasya. Being in this wonderful place called as Vrindavan, still for us, he went to West, he preached and made this Hare Krishna movement, because of which today we have got benefited. So when she was recalling whatever tapasya, whatever sacrifice the spiritual master has done, the whole consciousness was completely turned, and she was telling that my life became more meaningful and joyful when I started staying there. So it all depends upon us. So generally when we come to Vrindavan, by hearing this important quotes, that how being in Vrindavan, doing some one service, even of hearing, just walking around, so much benefit we get. So we should also be ready to do some tapasya. Just like doing parikrama in Vrindavan, 11 kilometers. Yes, it may be a little tough for us, but still you should know that what are the benefits. Sometimes you may feel very sleepy, but still you should be very attentive and hear the wonderful pastimes. Because by hearing, you know that you are advancing more. You may hear in Bangalore, but when you hear in Vrindavan, it's like multiplied by 1,000. So much advancement you will make. That's what benefit we will get. The more we do service, the more advancement will happen. So one of the glories of Vrindavan is, if someone does lot of service in this holy Dham, immense benefit is waiting for him. Just like Sudama Maharaj, he was in charge of the construction of the Krishna Balaram temple, and it was very tough. Indians, it was very tough those days in that heat, managing all the labors, getting the work done. There was so much delay, and he was having such a tough time. Hardly used to sleep for 3-4 hours daily. And it so happened when he was traveling in a car, Prabhupada turned towards him and he said, just like how much you are struggling to construct a wonderful temple for the Lord, even Krishna is constructing a wonderful palace for you in Goloka Vrindavan. So whatever we do, in Vrindavan Dham, you know it's going to be multiplied by 1,000. So hearing more about these glories and at the same time having this, Dham Seva mood, ready to serve devotees, ready to hear. That's like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, the only way you can understand Vrindavan, the only way you can understand Krishna, the only way you can understand this Kirtan is by serving devotees. That's why Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, whenever he starts a new narration, always he offers his respect to the Goswami, to all the Vaishnavas, and then he begins his narration. So following in that footstep, let us take up this wonderful opportunity of going to Vrindavan Dham and taking the immense benefit of visiting such a place by doing wonderful seva, and you yourself can see the result. Once you come back from Vrindavan, definitely, just like you, as I said yesterday, many times you'll see some boys wearing a t-shirt, I lost my heart in Vrindavan. So some of us may not wear that t-shirt to tell to the whole world, but definitely you will feel within you that yes, I have lost my heart in Vrindavan. Hare Krishna.